everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this Matcha Talk with the amazing James Rey Sanchez. I'm so very excited to share James's story with you. A recent graduate from the Academy of Art University in San Francisco, James graduated with top honors and a BFA in visual development with a focus on prop design and character development. I'm such a huge fan of James's, and I'm so excited to have him on my Matcha Talk. So everybody, grab your matchas and get ready for Matcha Talk with the amazing James Rey Sanchez. I'm so excited to have James on my Matcha Talk, a recent graduate with top honors at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. He is such a talented illustrator, and I'm so excited to have you on my Matcha Talk, James. And you have your matcha.
And I have my matcha.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
How are you?
I'm doing really, really good, actually.
Yeah, I would say so.
I've been doing good. It was dry for a while, but things have been picking up, and I'm really excited and very thankful.
Absolutely. So I just said you recently graduated, right? So from the Academy of Art in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Incredible. And not just graduated, but you had top honors in your class, which is such an achievement, you know, especially with all of the work you've been doing, James, because you know that I follow you. And I just absolutely love all of your work, which we'll talk about. And your focus is visual development, so in both prop and character design. And what I'd like to know is kind of like how you started, what inspired you in getting into illustration.
Yeah, well, it was definitely looking at a lot of Gendy Tartakovsky's work, because I was always a Cartoon Network kid. My brother was Nickelodeon, so it was always Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Foster's, but just like the color palette, and I never really liked doing stuff in motion, you know, so being able to just have really beautiful scenery and characters with energy, but still being still and flat. That's what really motivates me, and he's a big inspiration.
That is amazing. I know, he's incredible. And yes, I'll take a moment and just say absolutely. And you know, it's funny that you say that in like moving pictures and all of that, because honestly, illustration does move you, even though it's not like, you know, your animation or your animatics, but if you're doing storyboards or you're doing like you have done with Eddie the Yeti, which we'll talk about, you know, the children's book, I mean, you definitely, you know, you have motion just standing still, right?
Yeah.
Because you're using your imagination in that. So, and I have to say, you know, your illustrations are inspiring to me. You know, especially, I think for me, you know, everything that I see of yours, James, especially, you know, you'll be like, oh, I just illustrated this really quickly while I'm here. And it's like this amazing illustration. And I'm like, he's incredible. And just getting started. Right? So it's literally just getting started. So talk to me about kind of like what you're working on now. You just recently graduated, but even before you graduated, you had Eddie the Yeti. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so, well, Eddie the Yeti is written by my good friend Dave from back home. He's an elementary school teacher, and he's always had this idea. And one day I was at a Christmas brunch for my wrestling coach, and he hit me up about it, and I was like, dude, sounds pretty cool. So that's actually, we just did some samples and stuff, and that is what actually got me the agency for Lupine Grove. And my teacher, Julie, she's amazing. Yes. But yeah, so that I'm pushing to make my second book. The first one is Irving Berlin, and that is going to be finished July 1st and out next spring.
Exciting.
Very, very stoked about it. Yeah. So Eddie the Yeti, hopefully that'll be next.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So tell me about like you know, what does James have kind of in his little arena? So you've got, you know, these children books that you're working on, and what about you? Like what is something that James is working on for James?
For me, you know what? I have a very hard time sleeping, so
Uh-huh.
I'm just always going. My mind is just going, and
Sounds familiar.
yeah, it's it's
Mind of an artist, sir. Mind of an artist.
it's horrible, right? Hmm.
Yeah, you know, is it horrible? I mean, as long as we get a couple of hours of rest, right? I
Okay.
think, you know, that's important, but it definitely is. It's a gift, but at the same time, it's like, oh my gosh, it's nonstop, right?
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
then you come up with your best ideas, I feel, when
it's
you're
true.
like trying to go to bed and you're half asleep and you just wake up like, oh, that's cool.
Yep.
So right now, I'm working on Book of the Bard. I had that planned out to make it into an animatic, but I took Julie's children's book class, and I really want to make that my first self-authored book.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
That,
Absolutely.
and then one called The House of a Thousand Doors.
Mm.
I think that'd be it's a little something I'm
That's
working
how
on.
I'm just like trying to like, ah, 1,000 doors, 1,000 different places to go.
Mhm.
Huh?
So
Wow, that sounds
about
awesome.
that. And then going to school, there was never really any focus on really simple 2D shape-based designs.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I kind of set myself apart that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be really cool to develop a biz dev book for people to go out and buy, and I want to put together that and show them that it doesn't necessarily have to be fully rendered to be beautiful and energetic, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I want to do that and set up a booth at CTN next year
Ah,
and hopefully get that going.
I love it. Oh, I'm so excited. I just look at you, James, like seriously, and I'm just thinking with all of the work that you've done and that you are doing, and you're literally just getting started.
Yeah,
I mean, you are just getting started, sir, and you've already have this beautiful body of work.
thank
And
you.
oh, you're so very welcome. And for me, you know, you definitely inspire me. You know, truly, James. And, you know, for other artists, I love that you said that and that you're thinking of a way that you can inspire them through your work, but also showing your process and
Yeah,
showing them that, you know, you don't have to like do this grand thing or whatever it is to put your work out there because it is a little, you know, it's scary to put your work out there, isn't
oh,
it?
very much so, very much so. A
Yeah.
lot of failure. I've had a lot of failure in these few months, but failure is the key to success, I believe.
Yes, it is. They always say fail, fail again. And at first I'm like, fail? What? We all want to be successful. We want success. Everyone looks at success, right?
Yeah,
But it is. It's like if you fail, though, failure, we always say is learning and growth. Right?
yeah.
Because through that, you challenge yourself to be better. What works, what doesn't work. You keep going even though it's like challenging and you've got doubt and fear. I always
Mhm.
talk about them because they're kind of there with us throughout the journey, which is
Always. Oh,
totally normal. Oh,
oh
are
God.
they gonna, yeah, are they gonna like it? Are they not gonna like it? Is it good? But you're like, whatever, I feel right about it. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna develop it, see how it goes, change it up, whatever it is. And that's why it's so important to do that and to bring that out because that's your voice.
Exactly. I feel like that's the biggest key to success, though, is
Mm-hmm.
being you. And I
Yeah.
have my grandpa to thank for teaching me that. He's a cool dude. But yeah, you just got to go out there and push yourself. And I feel like the more energy and passion you put into one project, the more
Yes.
people will just vibe off of it and really dig it.
Absolutely, because your work is going to resonate with someone out there, right? It's going
Exactly.
to touch someone, inspire someone. They're going to look at you and be like, wow, look at James. Like, his work is incredible. Look at what he's doing. Look at where he's going. But all of that work that you're doing, right? You know, all of those 2 hours of sleep that you have, and you're sitting there and you're illustrating your ideas, because it's hard work, isn't it, James? It's not like you just come up and like, boom, there it is, beautifully in an hour, right?
It's very hard, but like, I mean, because I can't render 3D, so I felt like I had to, find a way to do it for myself. And I think that that's just what people need to do. Just go out there and be themselves and just get it done. And once you do that, you'll start having fun.
Yes.
And it'll just come.
Yes. Because it is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's hard work, but it definitely is fun.
Yeah.
You know, because you're doing what you love. And I always say that. I always end my matcha talks with do what you love and love what you do, because that's really what life is about. And inspiring people and bringing that creative voice into the world, because it's so, so important. And I love that you said, I didn't know how to 3D render. No clue, but I learned. I applied myself, right, and researched and made it happen. And I think that's what's really important as well, is not waiting for someone to render it for you or do it for you. Like, you're like, well, I can do this right now. I can learn this right now, and then move forward and make it happen. Exactly.
There's nothing is handed to you in life. You just got to go out there and get it.
You get it. That's right. Exactly. No one's coming to you with a little platter and says, "Oh, James, welcome." But eventually someone takes that platter and you all are sharing these amazing delectables, right, from it, and a collaboration. And I think that's the best, when you're collaborating with amazing artists and you're, going through different ideas like you did with your children's book. And, I love doing with my artists on Kate and going through ideas. And it's just, it literally is, I can't even put into words the joy that you feel when you see something that you've created, or a scene in your mind, or a story in your mind that you actually are putting to life.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just an amazing feeling, especially like I have a heavy focus on showing kids that, because there wasn't really like a big art scene when I was in elementary school, and going through high school I had like 2 art classes, but it's so cool just showing kids that you can go and follow your thing as long as you work hard enough. And absolutely. Art is a dream, and it's hard, but you can do it. It's so awesome.
Yes, and you know what? I always say dreams. By the way, let me show that mug. Let me see that mug.
It's from my mom's work, Hello Human Kindness.
I know, and I needed you to show that, because... All right, I'm going to do a little heart there, because that is what it's all about. And the fact that you just said that about teaching kids that, they have dreams, and to go after those dreams. And it's going to be challenging, and it's going to be hard. And not everyone's going to love what you do or support what you do. And, when you have the fortune of your family supporting you, that's the best, isn't it? Like you said, your grandpa gave you that inspiration, and your parents supporting you. And, even though they may not understand that path or whatever it is, that support, that we believe in you and what you're doing, which is important. And dreams really are dreams until we put them into action and make them tangible goals.
Exactly. You just gotta go for it. Like, there's too many people. I feel like there's people that are just afraid of failure and success, but if you want something bad enough, you go out and you get it, and you put out enough energy, and you say it, and you do it, and you put it into action, and you go get it, and life is about being happy.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. And, and truly you can't be really, really happy until you're doing what you really love to do.
Exactly.
And I don't care if it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, you take an hour a day to just focus on something that brings you joy. And when you have the fortune to be able to do it all the time, that isn't that the best? But you make that time. So tell me, James, how do you how do you make it happen, right? You're busy, you were going to school, you were getting ready to graduate, you had all these projects. How did you manage your time to make everything happen?
Well, lucky for me, I work really fast. I work super fast, but it's all about hard work and just putting the time in. You know, there was days where I wouldn't be sleeping. I would just be drawing and drawing and drawing, and because before I finished my last class in December, I had nothing. Like before that semester, I had no portfolio whatsoever. And I was just like, shoot, I need a job. I'm 130,000 in the hole. I need to make some money. So I just developed my style, and I found out how to do it really fast. And I put together 3 portfolios.
Wait,
Got it set.
Not just one, 3 portfolios.
3 portfolios, yeah.
We go from none to 3.
Yes, in the
Amazing.
span of like 3.5 months, got it all set. But yeah, no, it's just all about hard work. That's
Yeah.
what my grandpa and my dad, and that's what they taught me. You just got to go out there and do it. But yeah, it's just you got to put in the time,
Yes, you do.
and good things will happen if you're good to people too.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, and who you are as a person. That definitely
Sure.
shines through. And that shines through your art and who you are and how you inspire people. And I think for me, you are definitely one of those people. You are positive, always positive and happy, and just seeing your work and the joy that it brings. I think for me, like when I saw your post, wow, like a while ago, of the trees that I talked to you
Hmm.
earlier about, and I just looked at them, and I told Jason, I said, Jason, come look at this. Like, this is so magical and beautiful, and just the way that the branches like came down, and the colors, and all of that was just so incredible. And it will be on my website, so you all will be able to see. But tell me a little bit about that illustration, because it
Yeah.
just truly is. Every
So
single tree is so uniquely beautiful.
that one is an interesting one. I was going through a breakup, right? And I didn't want to break up with her, but she had other plans. So me being a little hopeless romantic, I thought I would draw her something up, and I did the willow tree for her. And then I was like, oh, you know what? It'll be a cool little series of trees to do. So in it sucks to say, but in that illustration, there's like a little carving in the tree of our
Yeah.
initials.
Yes.
But that's how that one started out. But I really love it. I dig it so much.
It's
I was just super
gorgeous.
stoked. I was looking a lot at samurai jack trees,
Mm-hmm.
Foster's trees, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do something like that. Make something a little pretty.
I would say yes. You definitely did do something absolutely incredibly beautiful. And,
Yeah.
I mean, truly beautiful. And a little bit of a love story attached to it, which makes it even that more romantic. And, but you have your whole wonderful young life ahead of you. So
Oh yeah,
fear
very
not.
much so. Yes. Live and you love and you learn.
Yes, and that love will happen upon you, sir. So
Mm. Cool.
that is without a doubt, right? And so tell me, kind of like what you do. What do you do, James, to inspire yourself? And you've watched these shows and things like that, but what does James do to kind of get his creative flow going?
Sometimes it's really hard. I deal with a lot of depression.
Mm,
So sometimes it's just like I get in these ruts where I just don't know what to do. But I remember my grandpa telling me that you got to be happy with yourself, and my dad telling me you got to be happy with yourself. And it's true. And then just, I pull myself up and I'm like, all right, let's just do something. And I'll go like a couple days without drawing, and then I have just this idea and then I throw it together and it works. So drawing inspiration for me is probably more about conquering my own fears and my own depression than anything else.
And I'm just sitting there and I'm completely blown away that, you said I fight with depression, which for me and knowing you and your work and following you, you're always so happy and so positive, right? And I mean, truly you are. Talk about
Yeah.
fighting through the depression and all of that and getting up, and sometimes it's okay to leave your work for a couple of days and just kind of take a little bit of a break, and as artists we need to do that and then come back even more inspired. But to say, you know what, I'm not going to let this stop me from being happy, and from doing things that make me happy, and then putting it out there to inspire other people that may be dealing with what I'm dealing with,
Hmm.
and sharing that story. And thank you so much for sharing that, because that's something that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to, especially artists that I find out that are dealing with that, which can be challenging. And you
Oh yeah.
have your family, you know what I mean, to get you out of it. But how do you get your mind, to just be like, I'm not gonna give in to this.
It's definitely a struggle. It's hard at times. It's really hard at times, but you just got to do it. I think one of the biggest things is me, because I know that I can be a success for myself, and I'm not afraid to fail for myself, but I'm afraid to fail for my parents because my mom and my dad have done so much for me, that I can't get trapped in sadness or depression. I just got to go and go and go. So I think they're the biggest reason that I can get out and do that.
Well, I know that your parents are so very proud of you.
I hope.
Oh, I am absolutely positive about that. If we invited them into this matcha talk, they would be like, he's amazing. We're so proud of our son, truly. And like I said, you've only just begun,
Yeah.
I mean, really, James, you have. And, and filling your cup, right? I always talk about that. You're talking about, making your parents happy, doing work for a friend's illustration and their novel and all of that. But what about you? Like, how does James take care of James? Like, how do you nurture your life and give to yourself? And oftentimes as artists, we're always, giving out and then not replenishing our cup, right? Because we're working on so many different things, and then we realize I'm tired or I'm drained or whatever it is. So how do you give back to you?
I think I think it definitely comes back to happiness and self love. Um, like I'll be in states where I'm just like, shoot, I'm dead. I'm so tired,
Yeah.
and I'm so lucky that I live right next to the beach. I'll go
Oh,
down there at like 10 at night when no one's there, and I'll just sit there and listen to the waves, or I'll hop on some PlayStation with some buddies. Um,
that's
I
awesome.
have two really good friends out here that help me and take care of me. And they're
That's
Gwen
great.
and Trevor. They're cool dudes.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's just simple things.
Mhm.
Camping. I
Mhm.
would love to start camping again. My grandpa took me since I was 5. So definitely
Wow.
out there and live a little.
I think that's important too. You touched on the ocean, and just sitting by that water. And I have to say, I think that is definitely one of the biggest things that I miss from California was you were so spoiled,
Uh,
like you were
uh,
like, Jason, I would be like, let's go over, it'd be like, let's go to the west side. And we loved Zuma Beach, and we'd go there and, just spend the day. And oh, it's just absolutely beautiful just listening to the ocean. And,
it's gorgeous.
Jason would bring his guitar, and like you literally replenish your soul. you
Mhm.
know, and Atlanta is beautiful in the fact that, you know, it takes a while to get to an ocean. You do
Uh,
have, you know, your rivers, and the mountains are really beautiful as well. But you touched on camping, you know,
mhm.
like being around nature. And for me, that is so important, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
is being around nature and trees and all of that beauty. And I know that that is definitely, you know, an inspiration to me, is, you know, is that peace and solitude, because that's really where you find your creativity as well.
You do, because you just open up. Your mind's not with the hustle and bustle of all the technology and being in
Yes.
downtown San Francisco with all the cars and trolleys and everything. Gosh. But yeah, no, it
Yeah.
opens you up, and that's my favorite thing to draw. Just anything nature. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I'm so stoked on Eddie the Eddy, because it's just trees and leaves and berries and snow.
I know. And it's so beautifully illustrated, James. I mean, truly. And so in your mind when you were doing Eddie, like
Mhm.
what was your creative process? Like walk me through your creative process for Eddie. Like
For
you
the
read this
character.
book for the character. Yeah.
Yeah, so my buddy, he showed me what he had,
Mhm.
and right off the bat, I was super stoked. I've been wanting to do like a primate troll character, just super cute.
Yeah.
So I went through a couple different designs with him, sketched it out really quick, and he's the sweetest dude. So he was just like, "Oh, that's great. Oh no, that's great. Oh, that's great." But in my head, I was just like, "No, we're not quite there." But once I finally got him down, it was just simple. I took away ears and took away different things from him and just made him simple. I think he's developed out of two shapes in total, and then I just carved away at him.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was just having fun, very
He
fun.
he is so adorable. Like
Thank you.
he is just the cutest character, and I mean truly. And your designs are, though, they're very fun. They have a lot of character in them. Even your background designs, you know, you truly bring whatever it is that you're illustrating to life. Like they feel like they have a personality to them.
Thank you so much. I've been hearing that from a few people. I've always
Yes.
been afraid of backgrounds though. Oh my gosh, always.
Well, I mean, surely, like that is such a gift, because whether I'm looking at, you know, those gorgeous trees that you created, or, you know, a table that you have with, you know, dishes and cups and glasses. I mean, everything just has this beautiful personality to it, you know. Eddie the Yeti. Like, I'm like, who is this guy? He's a Yeti, and he's adorable, and he's funny, and you truly do. And that's why it's funny that you say, you know, in illustration, like you're just standing still, but really you're not, because you're feeling all of these emotions at the same
Yeah.
time. You know,
Well,
which is awesome.
I mean, I think that it's a cool thing to be able to do that with 2D and flat shapes and everything, because I mean you see all these rendered things and they can do so many beautiful like camera movements and just
Mm-hmm.
develop light and shadow, but I think that simple is beautiful,
Yeah.
and if you can use 2 to 3 shapes to develop something that can bring life and energy to a scene or to a character or even a prop,
Yeah.
dishes, pots, pans, I think that speaks way more than any fully rendered scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I try to do in everything.
I think that's what you do in everything.
Thank you very much.
You definitely do that. It is, you have accomplished that, sir.
Thank
And
you.
you know, definitely. And so what I want to know, and that you can share, you know, with us, is, so what can we look forward to in, you know, in our wonderful future with, you know, with James Rey Sanchez and his amazing art.
Well, you can definitely look forward to a bunch of books. That's my passion. Um, I I want to say that Eddie the Eddie will be next. Fingers crossed. Then
Yay.
I'll be writing Book of the Bard, illustrating that. House of a Thousand Doors, Real Men Are Polite.
Yes,
I
they
only
are. Yes,
young,
they are.
yeah. And then the only studio that I would really sit down and work for in studio for a full-time job would probably either be Leica or Cartoon Saloon in Ireland. Other than that, it'll just be freelance work. So I've been hit up by DreamWorks and a few other places, and we'll see what else comes with it. But definitely books. You'll see a lot of books from me.
Well, I'm excited about it because truly that's your, I mean, I'm sure that whatever venture you go out and do, James, you're going to be extremely successful because, your talent, your love, your hard work, definitely shines through. And and what brings that special touch to everything that only you can bring, and it's true. So I have no doubt that wherever you go and whomever has the fortune of working with you is going to be over the moon because you are just a true treasure. I mean, you really, really are, and so special and a light. And I can literally good, because I can keep going on and on and on. And that's why when I was I was thinking, I was like, I have to have James on next. I have to. I saw Eddie, in all of your backgrounds, and I said, I really need to, get your story and share your story with everybody, because I'm so fortunate to be able to, wake up. I get my chanting done. I've got my matcha, take care of my babies, open up my computer, and I'm like, and I see your beautiful posts and your beautiful work, and I'm just like, constantly inspired. And, and I'm like, I have to share this, this with everybody. And thank you so much for taking time, because I know that you have a lot going on. It's not like, I've graduated, so now I can kind of sit back and take a couple of weeks. I know you.
Never sit back. Keep on going.
Never sit back. Absolutely. I mean, you can for a minute, you kind of like sit back and they go, okay, so now I got to keep going. And it's funny that you said, technology, because technology is such an amazing thing. I mean, truly, that you and I can have this talk, and you can share your story with me, you being out in San Francisco and me being in Atlanta. And I'm just thinking, wow, how incredible. And then someone somewhere halfway across the world will be listening to you. Yeah. And getting inspired and going to see your work and and maybe sharing ideas with you. And it's just like that part is just so beautiful. And with technology, truly, you're not limited in what you can do and what you can create. And yes, sometimes we need to put our phones away and shut our computers down and and kind of just have a moment, especially spending family time, which is so very important. I talk about that all the time, is just really spending that quality time, because that's everything. And that truly is, is your inspiration and what's important. So I'm just like over the moon that I got to have my matcha talk.
I'm so stoked. So stoked. I appreciate it so much for having me on.
Oh, it has been such a joy, and I'm so excited to see everything that you're doing and so much more. So definitely keep us posted, and of course, your links and your work are going to be on my website, so everybody will be able to see them. Awesome. And you're going to keep us posted on Eddie the Yeti.
Yes.
And all of your other wonderful works that you have going on. And I hope that you take some time today to go to that beautiful ocean.
I think I'm gonna hop on some PlayStation after this.
Okay, I'm okay with that, but definitely go to that ocean and just breathe it in for me.
I will.
just be like, this is for Mary.
I'll send you some good vibes. from
That's
the
right.
ocean.
Exactly. Send me a little video of the ocean. It's so funny when I have friends that and I have a few of them that live by the water. They'll just like send me a little video, and it's just like, oh, thinking of you. I'm like, thank you.
Thanks. I wish I
Yes.
was there.
So, but definitely, keep us posted, and thank you so much. You're absolutely incredible, and you're such an inspiration, James. And I really hope that that you really know that. And
Thank
I
you
think
very
you
much.
do.
I appreciate that.
I think you do.
You're the
So,
best.
so go enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for being on my Matcha Talk, James.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have an amazing day, an incredible week.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful episode of Matcha Talk with the incredibly talented James Rey Sanchez. I know you are as inspired as I am. To find out more about James's work, you can go to my website, baddaycate.com, and go to my Facebook page, Matcha Talk with Mary White. You'll be able to find links to James's work on both. You can also find out more about my animated series, Bad Day Kate, and Kate's spinoff series, The Babies, on baddaycate.com. So, everyone, grab those matchas and remember, go do what you love and love what you do.